Pokemon Emerald with just a Feebas was absolutely ridiculous.
And his name is John C.
Today we're going to switch things up and attempt to beat Pokemon Crystal with just a Spinarak. I have no doubt that this is going to be challenging, but I mean, hey, at least we get to use a move besides Splash to start with. If you've seen my challenge videos before, you know the rules, but let's go over them briefly as they pertain to this run. Number 1, we can obviously only use Spinarak in battle. We can have HM slaves, but they can't be sent into battle at all. Second, we can't use any glitches, cheats, or exploits. The only exception to this rule is of course changing our starter Pokemon to a level 5 Spinarak. Lastly, we cannot use any items on Spinarak in battle, meaning no potions, X-attacks, etc., aside from held items if we decide to use them. Now let's see what this creepy little spider is all about. Spinarak's base stats leave a lot to be desired, with a 250 base stat total, which puts it in the bottom 5% of all 900 Pokemon and is the 9th worst Pokemon in Gen 2, which had 8 baby Pokemon of course. Its bug and poison typing is okay defensively with 4 resistances and 4 weaknesses, but offensively it's quite bad, with its 2 types only being super effective against a combined 3 other types and are resisted by a ton of types too. Its move pool is definitely interesting. Its notable moves by level up include Poison Sting, Nightshade, Leech Life, Fury Swipes, and Psychic, although Psychic is a special move. By TM, Spinarak can learn Toxic, Giga Drain, Return, Dig, Psychic, Double Team, and Sludge Bomb. Unfortunately, in terms of bug-type stab, its best move is Leech Life with 20 base power. But now that we know what we're working with, let's jump into the adventure. As per usual, we're gonna grab the— wait a minute, there's no potion in the PC? What kind of house even is this? Who designed this game? Hello? Our mom takes about half an hour to tell us how to use a phone, but won't take 1 second to explain who the stranger in our house is. Beside the lab, we encounter a strange dude with red hair. Let's see what his deal is.
Go on without me. You can complete this run.
Just kidding. Silver, I'ma whoop your— We pick our starter, our Spinarak, and I decide to put him in the 3rd slot where Chikorita would normally be so that our rival picks Cyndaquil for an extra challenge, because we're obviously insane. Just getting that out of the way at the start. Sticking with the trend of generic human names, I decide to nickname our Spinarak Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Along the way to Mr. Pokemon's house, we get to test out Jeff in battle. As it turns out, he starts out with Poison Sting and String Shot. While the latter is pretty much useless, Poison Sting will actually be okay. Not only does it have a chance to poison the opponent, but it is also a stab move. Granted, it only has 20 power, but hey, that'll suffice for now. I must say, it feels nice to actually be able to damage things at the start of a run after what we went through with Feebas. Near the next town, we have a super close encounter with a super effective Spearow, but pull through and make it to Cherry Grove City where we can heal up. At Mr. Pokemon's house— wait a minute, who even is Mr. Pokemon? He literally has Pokemon as a name. Surely he must be one of the most important characters of all time, but am I the only one who has no idea who this man even is? Oh great, look who's here. Professor Oak, never missing an opportunity to send a child off alone on a dangerous journey across the region in order to fulfill his lifelong goal. We get the heck out of here, and as it turns out, Professor Elm is all in a panic over something that's happened at the lab. On our way to save the day, we encounter that red-haired kid again. Yeah, you know, the one that almost killed us. Since we don't yet know his name, the game just tells us that he is a series of question marks. He of course sends out his Cyndaquil, and luckily for us, we poison it on the first turn. He gets a crit on his first turn though, and he's quickly taking us out. We end up losing to him in the end, which I think gives us the right to finally know who he is.
My name is Question Mark.
Touché. Back at the lab, we've somehow gotten tangled up with the police. He asks me what the red-haired guy's name is, and as tempted as I was to just write
Question Mark,
I give him his real name. Except the first time I didn't realize I was just clicking the B button for every letter. I'm an idiot. I was probably standing there for literally 2 minutes straight, just not answering a police officer's question and staring blankly at him. Psych ward, here we come. We show the mystery egg to Professor Elm, and Jesus! That jump actually scared me. This man needs to calm down. We make it to Violet City with Jeff at level 10, where our next objective is to tackle the Sprout Tower because we absolutely need to do some training if we're going to have any hope of standing a chance against the first gym leader. All the sages have Bellsprouts, which unfortunately do have grass and poison typing, which means they're not weak to our Poison Sting, but they also can't do much damage against us. We make it to the Elder, and I'm feeling fairly confident, but as it turns out, we were actually quite low on on Poison Sting PP, meaning I had to rely on Constrict. That, combined with the fact that his last Pokemon is a level 10 Hoot Hoot, which got a crit on us, means that we lost. Our second challenge goes much better though, and we end up taking out the Elder, barely losing any HP. Feeling confident from this victory, despite facing a Flying type, I decide to head to the Violet City Gym led by the Flying type gym leader, Faulkner. At this point, I'm convinced we're probably not ready, but I decide to start taking on trainers in his gym. As I thought, Flying type moves are doing crazy damage to us, but miraculously we survived through the first trainer's Spearow with just 7 HP left. The second trainer's Pidgey doesn't have any Flying type moves at all and just uses Tackle, allowing us an easy victory. It's time for our first gym leader, Faulkner, the guy who is not only using his father's Pokemon, but is also apparently a hacker too. His Pidgey isn't too bad since it only has Tackle, so we're able to take it down. He then sends out his level 9 Pidgeotto when Pidgey isn't even supposed to be able to evolve until level 18. My confidence quickly disappears as it starts using Gust for massive super effective damage, and we are just not doing enough against it even after poisoning it. Looks like we're gonna have to do some grinding. And here I thought I was gonna get away with this. The grinding process for Jeff is actually terribly slow, but we managed to get to level 16 and then level... What is that? Just give me the level! Level 17, where he actually learns Nightshade. Now, since both of Faulkner's Pokemon are part normal type, this won't help at all right now, but I have a feeling it will be more and more useful as the run goes on, not only for type effectiveness, but also because Nightshade's power matches the user's level, which is only going to increase from here. Thinking 2 extra levels will be enough, I head back to rematch Faulkner. His Pidgeotto succumbs to poison from Poison Sting on the very first turn, and we're able to wear him down and take him out with just 6 HP remaining. We've officially gotten our first badge, and while Jeff is looking good at the moment, I'm not being naive about the journey that we have ahead of us. While healing at the Pokemon Center, I notice Professor Elm's assistant is here, and he requests that we take the mystery egg along our journey. Despite his attempts to make me feel bad, I ain't having none of it. I'm sick of doing favors for this dude at this point, and besides, he almost got me thrown in jail. As I'm walking away, I remember, oh, Togetic can learn some HM moves like Flash and Fly. Maybe it'll be useful as an HM slave of sorts. So I awkwardly go back and I'm like, actually, I'll take it. And we continue on our journey through Route 32, hoping to never see that guy again. One death later, and we make it into Union Cave. The first guy says, whoa, I didn't expect to see anyone here. My dude, there's literally a guy standing right over there. This madman then sends out a level 11 Onix, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is going to be a problem. I try Poison Sting and it does like 1 HP damage, and then he uses Bind on us, which hurts us every turn. Remembering that Ghost-type moves are special in this gen, I go for a Nightshade instead since Onix's physical defense is so high, and holy cow, it actually does a lot of damage. Rock-types might not be so much of a struggle after all. At least not until they start using Rock-type moves against us. This dude here says, on weekends you can hear huge roars from deep in the cave. Huh, that's wait, what day is it? Jesus, I'm getting out of here. We make it out of Union Cave with just 11 HP to spare, and I talk to another guy thinking, you know, he just wants to chat, and he actually decides to battle us and sends out a level 11 Geodude, which just has to know Rock Throw. We lose and get sent all the way back to before the cave. Why? We make it to Azalea Town and find out that Team Rocket's blocking the entrance to the gym, so we have to take them out at the Slowpoke Well, which proves to be quite easy. Upon entering the gym, we're confronted by 2 trainers, one of whom also has a Spinarak, so it's time to show her who's boss around here. The last trainer ends up having a Beedrill, and we're paralyzed and at low health already. It ends up hitting 2 Fury Cutters, and we need 1 more hit, but we get fully paralyzed. It hits us with Fury Cutter again, and we barely live thanks to it only hitting twice. We break through paralysis and take it out with 5 HP to spare. We level up and learn Leech Life, meaning we finally have a stab bug move and a method of recovery, but it will definitely not be useful for what we have next. After healing, we challenge the second gym leader, Bugsy. Weirdly enough, Bugsy starts off the battle with a Metapod and Kakuna, which makes us think that he's a garbage trainer, but then he sends out a level 16 Scyther. Now with this Scyther, we're quite lucky in a few ways. First of all, he doesn't have a stab flying move on it, which would absolutely destroy us. It only uses Fury Cutter against us, which we resist even though it gets stronger every turn in this generation. Secondly, we also have Nightshade. Otherwise, all of our moves would be resisted or wouldn't do much at all. We're able to take it out quite handily and win our second gym badge. Upon leaving Azalea Town, we're challenged by our rival, Silver.
Question mark.
He first sends out a Ghastly, and I'm like, man, we'll probably be able to outspeed it and take it out with a super effective Nightshade, but somehow it outspeeds us, hits us with a lick, and instantly paralyzes us, and then it turns out Nightshade isn't super effective. It was at this point I remembered that Nightshade doesn't take typing into account with regard to damage, which kind of ruins my plans for future battles. Oh boy. We managed to take it down with a second attack, but then he sends out his evolved Quilava. Between paralysis and super effective stab embers, we get absolutely destroyed. The thing is, paralysis only affected us on one turn, so even without it, we would probably have no chance. I think it's time to grind. I grind up one level to level 25, which actually takes a while since Jeff is at such a high level at this point and the wild Pokemon are so weak. I decide to test my chances yet again in the hopes that we don't get paralyzed. Silver's Ghastly doesn't use Lick this time and we're able to take it out much easier. His Quilava immediately goes for the Ember and gets a crit this time and I'm like, oh god, well there goes this attempt. But I decide to go for a Nightshade just to test out what it could do and it actually does more than half. Nonetheless, he's of course going to take me out with another Wait, he used Leer? Yes! We take it out and he sends out a Zubat which hits us with a bite, but we end up winning the battle with just 20 HP. Now that was unexpected. After rescuing the absolutely annoying Farfetch'd, the Charcoal Master, whatever that title means, gives us the Cut HM. Our egg also hatches and I named the Togepi Over Easy. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of having my eggs over hard, but I feel like Over Easy gives us a better omen for this challenge. I catch a Paris and name it Trip, teach it Cut, and get the heck out of this forest since Celebi probably wants nothing to do with us at this point. In Route 34, we encounter another cop who is apparently looking for suspicious individuals. It's time to get the hell out of here, they're so totally onto us. We arrive in Goldenrod and dear lord am I ever scared for our next challenge. The normal type gym led by the infamous gym leader Whitney. We make it through all of the trainers with no problem, heal up, and get ready for the battle that has caused millions of headaches worldwide over the past couple of decades. The main problem with normal type Pokemon like Whitney's is that our most powerful move, Nightshade, doesn't affect them, so we're stuck with really low power moves. However, with a combination of the chance of poison from Poison Sting and the recovery from Leech Life, I'm hoping we can pull something off. I test my strategy against her level 18 Clefairy using Poison Sting first and then Leech Life once her health is damaged. Clefairy ends up using Metronome and gets Ice Beam, but it's looking like we should be able to pull this off, especially because we poison it. But then Metronome gives the damn thing same type attack bonus Explosion and absolutely annihilates us. Here I was worried about the Miltank, but holy absolute. Our second challenge goes much better and we're able to take out the Clefairy with the help of poison. And then she brings it out. The Miltank, udders and all. I try and go for the poison with Poison Sting and then it uses Rollout. Now Rollout is a move that gets more and more powerful every time it's used, so the key is to take this thing out very quickly. But I realize, oh god, Rollout is super effective against us. This thing is terrible enough to take down with a full team of various Pokemon, but one lone unevolved Pokemon that's weak to its attack? Dear lord. By the second rollout, we're almost dead already and I realize we're gonna need some extra levels. Even with a lucky poison status on the first turn, then Leech Life for recovery, I don't think this is near possible. While grinding, we encounter our arch nemesis, Darth SPINARAK. But we managed the fight since we've become a lot more powerful since we fought millennia ago in the Dark Ages. On our third challenge, the Clefairy goes by really smoothly with no metronome uses and the Miltank actually misses its first rollout, but we don't get the poison. Level 30 is still not enough for this thing as the third rollout annihilates us even from well over half HP, but we did get it below half. I grind to level 32 and try several more times, but it is not working out. I also quickly find out that Miltank has Attract, which can make it impossible for us to move, and every now and then Clefairy's Metronome is paralyzing me or something stupid like that, making this even more difficult. It just seems like we're taking too much damage from the rollout, and a fourth rollout will guaranteed KO us even if we're like level 50. So our only hope is raising our attack through grinding and hoping that we have a lucky run. I grind all the way up to level 35 in the wild and then try a few more times and I'm still not getting it. Finally, an attempt starts looking promising. We one-hit KO the Clefairy with Fury Swipes, meaning we take no damage. Miltank hits us with Rollout, and then we hit it with a Leech Life. Then her Miltank misses its second Rollout, meaning all of the damage-building momentum is lost. We then get a crit on one of our remaining Leech Lives, basically canceling out one of her high-damage Rollouts, and holy cow, we actually did it. Third gym badge, and it's time to get away from this nightmarish place. On our way to the national park, we meet lots of trainers and I go heal up before encountering a police officer at the end. I'm like, you know what, maybe we'll just play it cool and chat him up. He comments about how our Pokemon are looking pretty tough and that we could go anywhere safely. He's being friendly with us. Maybe we're okay after all. But then I can't control my damn bike properly and I couldn't even get in the doorway looking like a maniac right in front of them. Damn it, they're definitely on to us again. And just when I thought I had turned things around. After defeating some more trainers, we get to level 38 and make it to Ekrutik City, the location of our 4th gym challenge. I decide to take on all the kimono girls with their evolutions, both for more XP for our upcoming gym battle and so that we can get the Surf HM. And with that, it's time to take on the Ekrutik gym. Or not. I just got forcefully evicted from the gym by an elderly green man. What in the... As it turns out, we have to go to the Burn Tower and encounter Suicune, but not before our rival challenges us to battle. We manage to take out his Haunter, but he does lay a curse on us. His Quilava comes out and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. But amazingly enough, Fury Swipes is relentless and just doesn't stop, and we get 5 consecutive hits to take it out with one move. Wow. His Magnemite doesn't die to a Nightshade though, and then we get hit with a Sonic Boom and hurt by the curse. His Zubat also doesn't die to one hit, but we survive on just 20 HP to take the battle. Yeah, if his Quilava was able to make one singular move, we would not have won that battle. Close one. Let's heal up and head to the gym. Now, Morty's Ghost-type gym is something I'm kind of scared of now that we know Nightshade won't give us super effective damage. Morty leads off with a Ghastly, which I thought we'd be able to take out in one hit, but it barely survives and uses Lick on us, which paralyzes us. Uh-oh. We take out the Ghastly and he sends in a Haunter, which is able to do some decent damage on us with Nightshade, but I'm able to get good damage off on it, but then I stupidly go for the Leech Life to get some health back when it was at low health, but it wasn't enough, costing us an additional Nightshade hit. But we eventually take it out by getting some good luck breaking through the paralysis. He then sends out his Gengar. It uses Mean Look on its first turn and we hit it with a Nightshade, which looks like it's going to be a 2-hit KO. He then uses Shadow Ball, and I thought that this would be it, but we survive on 15 HP and we break through paralysis to take it out with another Nightshade. He sends out his Haunter and I was hoping we'd survive one of his attacks, but it was not meant to be. That paralysis in the beginning absolutely killed us. I also forgot that I still had our HM slaves, so I had to waste like 50 power points and then struggle our Togepi to death, which was quite a hassle. So much for evolving it through friendship. Before our second challenge, I get Jeff up to level 42 since we're so close anyway, just in case we can take out the Ghastly in one hit to avoid Lick paralysis. But of course, not only can we still not take it out in one hit, but it paralyzes us again and gets a crit. Despite this and a curse from the first Haunter, we're able to make it to his last Pokemon before losing again. At this point, it's all about not getting paralyzed. Or so I thought. This time around, the Ghastly decides to use Curse before it dies, and that damage proceeds to wreck us until by the time we're at the Gengar, it puts us to sleep with Hypnosis and we get absolutely smashed by a final Dream Eater. Alright, one more level is necessary, but thankfully these battles have gotten us reasonably close. We need to take out that Ghastly in one hit. I reluctantly decide to grind up one more level, and in the middle of it, holy absolute nuggets, we encounter a full odds shiny Pidgey. I say screw it, we're using this thing as our fly HM slave, catch it and name it Goldeneye. This is my third ever 1 in 8,192 full odds shiny, and I have beaten every single main series games and maxed out the clock on a few of them. This is actually so incredible, I can't believe we get to do one of these challenges with a shiny HM slave. The status screen even has sparkles, which I didn't know was a thing in Crystal. 2 more attempts and I finally have a good start. Ghastly still doesn't die to one shot somehow, but it hits the Lick and it doesn't paralyze us, allowing us to take both it and Haunter out with relative ease. The Gengar then uses Mean Look, meaning we can get a free hit, and then it misses the Hypnosis so we can take it out with a Nightshade. With this amount of health, his Haunter is a pushover and we finally beat Morty. Holy. With how much Whitney is hyped up, Morty has honestly been the hardest challenge so far, which I really wasn't expecting. With our next objective being Olivine City, we make our way through Route 38. One of the trainers has a Corsola, and this thing looks like it's absolutely dying inside. Let's put it out of its misery, man oh man. We arrive in Olivine to find out that Jasmine isn't in the gym currently, so I decide to go for our next HM slave since we'll need him soon. I get the Good Rod from one of the fishing bros and fish on the Olivine coast looking for a Krabby, which we catch and nickname Grips. Grips is going to come in handy since he can learn Cut, Strength, Surf, and Whirlpool. Since we no longer need Trip or Over Easy, I deposit them at the PC. Sorry guys, I know, fan favorites, but we've got Krabby, don't need Flash anymore, and Fly is covered by Goldeneye now, who is shiny. I mean, come on. Speaking of strength, we can actually just go next door to pick it up to teach it to Grips. How convenient! On our way to Cianwood City, we grind like crazy against water trainers and bring Jeff up to level 50. We pick up the secret potion upon arrival and get ready for our next challenge, the Cianwood City Gym led by the fighting type gym leader, Chuck. The The trainers in the gym, although powerful, aren't too much of a challenge. The thing with fighting types is that although we don't have anything super effective to use against them, we also resist the fighting type. Our best strategy is probably just to use Nightshade since it's a special move, and most fighting type Pokemon have good physical defense but low special defense. Grip's coming in clutch with always with the boulder removal. Ah, what a guy. He should start a business or something, to be honest. But don't tell him that. We need him. We defeat all of the trainers in one go with less than half of our health remaining, heal up, and get ready for Chuck. At this point, I don't really know what to expect, but let's see what happens. Chuck's Primeape is quite easy to take down with Nightshade, and he next brings out his level 30 Poliwrath, which is his second and last Pokemon. Now I know that this thing has Hypnosis, but thankfully it just uses Surf, and we're able to take it down just barely with 2 Nightshades. Wow, finally a manageable gym battle. I think we deserve that after all we've been through. Right outside of Chuck's gym, his wife hits on us, gives us the Fly HM, and tells us that she thinks her husband is chubby. Honestly, not what I was expecting going into this journey, but I'll take it. Now that we have Fly, GoldenEye takes us back to Olivine in a flash where we cure the sick Ampharos and prepare for our next gym battle against the Steel-type gym leader, Jasmine. Jasmine's gym has no trainers, so it's a beeline to our battle with her. Now her battle is a similar situation to Chuck's where she's got heavily physically defensive Pokemon. Plus, her Pokemon resist 2 of our moves and are immune to another, so we're absolutely stuck with Nightshade. Her Magnemite survives our first one and then she paralyzes us with Thunder Wave. It then tries to go for the Confusion with Supersonic but misses thankfully. Trying to go for that Para-Confusion strat. I see you, Jasmine. She then sends out the absolute monster Steelix. Now with the paralysis, this thing is able to take us out in 3 heavy hits with Iron Tail that honestly did even more than I expected. Our next attempt is similar, but with Magnemite going for Thunderbolt instead after paralyzing us. Her Steelix actually misses an Iron Tail, which allows us to bring it down to just a sliver after 2 Nightshades, but Jasmine then uses a Hyper Potion on it. What I realize is that we might need 1 or 2 more levels to maybe take out the Magnemite in one hit and then be able to 2-hit KO the Steelix to prevent her from using a Hyper Potion on it, so I do some grinding in the water. We grind to level 53 where SPINARAK actually tries to learn Psychic. Ultimately, I decide to get rid of Poison Sting since it's our weakest move at just 15 power, and I know we'll probably be replacing it with Sludge Bomb if we can find it. Unfortunately, Psychic won't be helping us out against Jasmine since Steel resists it, but it will definitely come in handy soon as our most powerful move. A couple more tries and we're still not managing it. The paralysis is absolutely killing us, and although we're able to get the Steelix below half with Nightshade, sometimes Jasmine will even use a Hyper Potion on it if it even just goes below half. On the 3rd try, the Magnemite actually doesn't hit the Thunder Wave for the first time and we can KO it. Her Steelix hits an Iron Tail, but then Jasmine doesn't use a Hyper Potion so we can finally take it out. She then sends out her last Pokemon, a second Magnemite, and I'm hoping to God we don't get Parahaxed, but amazingly it also misses the Thunder Wave and we can take it out. This gym was actually way tougher than I thought, but we were lucky enough to pull through. It's time to head towards Mahogany Town for our next gym battle. At the Lake of Rage, we encounter the Red Gyarados, which ironically enough is our second shiny in this game. I figure we might as well catch this thing since we need something for the Waterfall HM later. I weaken it as much as I can since I only have Great Balls, and oh boy, a crit, but it just barely survives. We catch the Red Gyarados, nickname it Mr. Fury, and bam, a strange man in a cape appears. As it turns out, this is none other than Lance, the final Elite Four member from the Indigo Plateau in the Gen 1 games. Apparently, he's undercover doing investigations, so we're gonna be his partner in crime. We arrive at the secret rocket hideout and whoa! Alright, Lance just had his Dragonite Hyper Beam a man. My issues with the police are about to get a whole lot worse. We defeat the rest of the rocket hideout pretty easily, and Psychic is coming very much in handy against all of those poison types that we probably would have otherwise had trouble with. Our last task is to slaughter a bunch of Electrodes, which I enjoyed probably a bit more than I should have. It's time for our 7th gym battle against the Ice-type gym of Mahogany Town. This gym is another one of those neutral kind of gyms in terms of typing. They don't have anything that's super effective against us, but we don't have anything that's super effective against them. After dealing with the crazy ice puzzle, honestly this one always gets me. It has for 20 years. I don't think that'll ever change. I don't know why. We make it to the gym leader, Price. His Seal goes down to 1 Psychic, then his Dugong tanks 1 and hits us with an Aurora Beam which does a surprisingly low amount of damage. We take it out and next he sends out Piloswine. It's also capable of tanking a Psychic, the last one we have, and it hits us for a Blizzard and gets a crit, but we're able to survive with a little bit over half of our HP to take it out with 1 last Nightshade. And that's it, our 7th gym badge. Jeff is actually becoming scarily powerful, which gives me some hope for the challenges we have up ahead. At the end of Route 44, we make it to the Ice Path, which actually received a visual upgrade in Pokemon Crystal and looks so much cooler. The puzzles aren't quite as tough as I remember them being, and I can feel my IQ rising by the second. We make it to Blackthorn City, and it turns out Claire is not at the gym. Oh, damn it, I forgot to clear out Team Rocket at the Goldenrod radio tower. Negative 10 IQ. Actually, you know what? This was just a cover to avoid the police, okay? Yeah, we'll go with that. I'm not dumb. In the underground, to get the card key, Silver bursts in and says that he's taking out Team Rocket on his own. He then challenges us to battle. Dude, hello? We're both trying to save the world, and now you're gonna weaken both of us? Oh. This battle is actually kind of scary since this Golbat hits us with a super effective wing attack because I didn't have any psychic power points left to take it out in one hit. We take out the Golbat with a second Nightshade, and then he sends out his Quilava, which I'm terrified of, but we survive the Flame Wheel with about a third health. He sends out a Magnemite, which we take out with a Nightshade. His Haunter survives a Nightshade, but then just uses Curse. His last Pokemon is a Sneasel, which outspeeds us to hit us with a Feint attack. Then we use super effective Leech Life to take it out and bring our health back up to half. That one shove he gave us back in New Barktown is being repaid with endless defeats. Just how I like it. At last, it's time to go for our 8th gym badge. Now, dragons, I'm not so sure how we'll fare against, but I quickly find out. The first trainer in the gym has 3 Dratinis, one of which paralyzes us, and their Dragon Rages actually do enough damage to take us out despite only being level 34. Oh boy. The next time around, I go for Psychic, and it actually takes out all 3 of these things in one hit. Well, why didn't anybody say so? The rest of the gym goes smoothly until we start facing Dragonairs, which can survive Psychics. One of them uses Thunder Wave on me, and this causes the final trainer to be quite a struggle. When we're low on health, her Dragonair uses Dragon Rage on me, and we survive with just 1 HP, but then are fully paralyzed so it can take us out. Big oof. After beating that trainer, it's time for the last gym leader in Johto, Claire, the Dragon Master. She starts out with a Dragonair that of course survives a Psychic and paralyzes us right off the bat, and I'm like, this is not good. We manage to take it out, and she sends out another Dragonair. Between Surfs and Ice Beams, we start getting seriously worn down, and then she sends out another Dragonair. How many of these things does one trainer need? We have such incredible luck that we end up not being affected by the paralysis at all for 5 turns in a row, besides the speed drop of course, and we take it out with 60 HP remaining. Then she sends out what is supposed to be my mascot, Kingdra. As much as I don't want to hurt this majestic thing, I kinda have to. It hits us with a super powerful Surf that leaves us in the red, and our Psychic doesn't even bring it below half. Then it's able to take us out. We literally didn't get affected by the paralysis for 6 turns in a row and had the luckiest battle ever, and we didn't even come close to taking out the Kingdra. Dear Lord, how in the world are we gonna do this? On our second attempt, a miracle happens. The Dragonair doesn't hit its Thunder Wave, and we're able to take it out without getting paralyzed. Although we take some damage, the second Dragonair is now an easier task. The third Dragonair comes out, and now it hits a Thunder Wave. We don't get affected by it, however, and I can take it out. Going into the Kingdra paralyzed, yeah, I'm not so sure about this. We hit our first Psychic, and amazingly we actually get a high roll, and it takes it below half. All we need to do is survive this Surf and then avoid paralysis for 1 more turn. It all comes down to this. And we do. Oh my god. We've gotten all 8 gym badges. That was close. Claire of course refuses to give us the gym badge out of stubbornness and orders us to take the Dragon's Den Challenge, or whatever the it's called. The dumb diddly Dino Dragon's Den Duty of Death. Yeah, I think that was it. We passed the stupid test to finally get our 8th gym badge, and with that, it's back to New Barktown to head east towards the Pokemon League. Our path in the Kanto region is a long grind, but seeing really cool Pokemon like Venusaur and Blastoise makes it much more exciting. We arrive at Victory Road, which is a super easy path in this game, and we make it to the end where our rival suddenly stops us for a battle before we reach the league. We're able to take out his Sneasel in 1 hit with a super effective Leech Life, and his Golbat in 1 hit with a super effective Psychic. He then sends out his Typhlosion, and it survives a Psychic and then hits us with a super effective Flame Wheel for some decent damage, and he gets the burn. After taking out the Typhlosion, he sends in a Magneton which survives a Nightshade and counters with a Sonic Boom. The Magneton goes down to another Nightshade and he sends out his final Pokemon, a Kadabra. Here I am thinking, this'll be an easy one, and I use Leech Life for recovery, and it survives on just a sliver. I'm like, oh no, but then he uses Future Sight so I can take it out. Phew. If that thing had used super effective Psychic on us, that might not have gone so well. We finally arrived at the Indigo Plateau 3 years after Red conquered it. I deposit Goldeneye, Trip, and Mr. Fury, but don't worry, this won't be the last that we see of him. Jeff, you sick level 69... It's just me and you now. Our first challenge is Will, a new Elite Four Wait, how do you know my name? Will starts out with a Xatu, which I realize is a perfect counter to SPINARAK with its Psychic and Flying types. On our first attempt, I go for Fury Swipes and we miss and get hit by a super effective Psychic, which does a bit less than half. Our next attack takes it below half, but then it uses Confuse Ray on us, which costs us this Elite Four challenge after the very first Pokemon that we face. Yikes. On the next attempt, I realize that Nightshade is probably a more consistent choice, but then it hits us with a crit. We take out the first Xatu, and then he sends out another one which outspeeds and destroys us. Accepting the inevitable, we grind all the way to level 75 in Victory Road. Our next attempt goes much better as we take out the Xatu with 2/3 of our health. The second one goes down to Fury Swipes since we luckily got 4 hits off on it, and then we're able to take out his Jinx with Leech Life, which restores our health hugely. His Executor is 4 times weak to Leech Life, so that's an easy KO and we're back to full health. Slowbro is his final Pokemon, and I know that this thing has insane defense, so I go for Nightshade since we don't need recovery right now anyway. A final attack takes it out, and that is the end of Will. It seems the only real struggle was those 2 Xatu, but now we can take them out more reliably. Next up is former gym leader Koga, who of course uses Poison-type Pokemon. He sends out our evolved form Ariados, and we show it who's boss. His Venomoth gets taken out with 1 Psychic, although his Crobat outspeeds us to use Double Team. Thankfully, the accuracy doesn't affect us and we can KO it as well. Fortress survives a Nightshade but just uses Spikes and we can take it out with a second shot. His Muck is also quite tanky and barely survives a Psychic. It goes for Minimize, but our accuracy remains unaffected and we basically sweep right through Koga. Bruno is kind of a similar situation. His fighting-type Pokemon all go down to 1 Psychic. His Onixes could have proven troublesome with their Rock typing, but Psychic being a powerful special move absolutely tears through them. At this point, I'm feeling quite confident, especially since we're going up against Karen next, a Dark-type user who we can probably just use Leech Life against. However, her first Pokemon, an Umbreon, is super tanky and hits us with a Sand attack after surviving a Leech Life with over half of its health. It then uses Confuse Ray, and that, combined with our lower accuracy, makes it almost impossible to get a move off. We do manage to take out the Umbreon, but then she sends out a monstrous Houndoom. We have no way to restore our accuracy and the confusion is ongoing, and it hits us with a flamethrower and brings us down hugely. We hit ourselves in confusion and then get absolutely wrecked. Damn, I was definitely becoming too overconfident with how easy Koga and Bruno were. On the next few attempts, I have an unlucky time with confusion and lose to Will, proving that it's not just an easy plow through on our way to Karen. We eventually do make it back to her though, and this time it proves to be an epic battle. Her Umbreon misses its Sand attack, and I decide to go for Fury Swipes on the second turn in the hopes that we'll get some extra damage to take it out, but we just missed the KO. Amazingly, it only uses a Feint attack on the second turn instead of Confuse Ray, so we can take it out. Her Houndoom comes out again, and this time I'm thinking I'll go for Fury Swipes. Even with a crit, it barely survives, and then it hits us with Flamethrower. Karen then uses a Max Potion, and I had gone for Leech Life thinking it would take it out and get some recovery for us, so we don't get much damage off. We get another Leech Life off, it hits us with Flamethrower, but we survive on 27 HP, which allows us to take it out. Her Vileplume is a relatively easy KO with a few Leech Lives that allow us to recover a little bit of health since Petal Dance does little to nothing. Her Gengar outspeeds us and hits us with a Lick, but we very luckily don't get paralyzed by it and are able to take it out with 1 Psychic. Her final Pokemon is a Murkrow, and we miss our first attack and get hit by a Feint attack. Our Fury Swipes then only hits 2 times, and we get hit again down to 34 HP, but we finally take it out. Holy, we've officially beaten the Elite Four, and it's time for the champion. On our way to the room, I'm thinking our chances of success against Lance are grim at best. He has a lot of powerful Pokemon that counter us really well. He starts with a Gyarados, which we get a crit on with Psychic, but it'd probably still be a 2-hit KO either way. He hits us with a Hyper Beam suddenly, but Jeff survives it pretty well. Since he has such low health, I go for Leech Life for a bit of recovery since I know we'll need it. Next, he sends out an Aerodactyl, and this thing is an absolute monstrous counter to SPINARAK. He outspeeds us and goes for a super effective Stab Rock Slide, and it flinches us. It immediately hits us with another Rock Slide, and we survive on 17 HP. We go for Psychic, which does over half damage, but I was like, this is over. He outspeeds us on the next turn, but he actually misses the next Rock Slide and we take him out. Wow. But of course, his next Pokemon just has to be Charizard, another perfect counter to us. We do outspeed it with a Psychic, but it of course doesn't kill, and he swiftly takes us out with a Flamethrower. A few attempts later, either losing to Will or Karen, and we make it back to Lance. His Gyarados goes down without a problem since it just uses Rain Dance. His Aerodactyl misses his first Rock Slide, and we hit it with a Psychic, and then he just gets one Rock Slide off on us before we take it out with a Nightshade. We outspeed and hit his Charizard with Psychic, and then it decides to go for Wing Attack instead of Flamethrower for some reason, which I'd imagine would do less damage, but neither would take us out, I don't think. One more hit, and we make it past the Charizard, and in comes the level 50 Dragonite. I figure our best bet is Fury Swipes, and we actually get 5 hits, which takes it past half. He then goes for Outrage, and I'm like, dear lord, but it doesn't do nearly as much as I thought. I then go for Psychic for guaranteed damage just in case Fury Swipes only hits twice or something, and we take it out and level up. His next Dragonite is 3 levels lower, but we're at incredibly low health. I go for Psychic and it does more than half, but then he goes for Hyper Beam, which we survive on 2 HP. Knowing that he has to recharge on the next turn, I go for a Leech Life for a tiny bit of recovery, then a Psychic on the next turn to take it out. With 12 HP remaining, we head into his last Dragonite, and I'm like, there's no possible way we can win this, so I just go for Leech Life for the memes. For some reason, this thing then decides to use Twister, which doesn't actually take us out somehow, and we survive on 1 HP. What in the world? I go for Fury Swipes, which I was hoping would take it out. As it repeatedly hits, I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it actually does hit 5 times, but it is not enough to take it out. So close, yet so far. But then, he uses a 70% accuracy Blizzard and actually misses. Why would you not use Twister? We then go for the Nightshade to finish him off. Holy. We beat Lance with literally 1 HP. I was honestly sitting there with my jaw dropped. We beat Champion Lance. Alright, not now, Jeff. This is not the time for this. Our celebrations are short-lived though. Those of you who have played through Gen 2 or its remakes know that this is not the end. In Pokemon Crystal, we of course get to go to Kanto to face the 8 Kanto gym leaders before the biggest challenge of them all. We get the SS ticket from Professor Elm and then decide to say hello to our mom for the first time in like a year. Negligent as ever, our mom says, just do what you can. Hello, I'm the champion. We get on the SS Aqua and apparently this dude's granddaughter is missing. I try to find her, but then this sailor stops me and says to go find his friend. What is with the missing people around here? Our first gym challenge is against Lieutenant Surge of Vermilion City. His Raichu thankfully misses its Thunder Wave, and aside from its Electabuzz causing us trouble with Light Screen and his other Pokemon using Double Team, we managed the battle taking little damage. Paralysis could have been scary, but apparently we're lucky today. In Saffron City, we get to Sabrina with less than half health, but there's no way in hell I'm going through all that teleportation nonsense again, so I decide to challenge without healing. Thankfully, we're able to use Leech Life on Espeon to gather all of our health back, take out the Mr. Mime in 1 hit, and then her Alakazam fires off a massive power stab Psychic that does huge damage, but we take it out as well. We next interrupt Misty's date at the Cerulean Cape, and she is not happy with us. We're able to take out both her Golduck and Quagsire in 1 hit with Leech Life, but her Lapras is a bit harder to take down with Psychic since it's so bulky, but we manage. Her Starmie is made quick work of after 2 Leech Lives as well. Good to know that the creepy old man has been standing outside of the Celadon gym for 3 years straight. Never change, King. Erica's gym is definitely one of the easier ones. There's just no way grass Pokemon are going to do a thing to our bug and poison beast tarantula monster thing. Surprisingly, 3 out of 4 of them are able to survive Leech Life, but her Tankala's missed Sleep Powder was a missed opportunity, and her Jumpluff's Leech Seed didn't see any use. The Fuchsia City Gym is no longer led by Koga since he's an Elite 4 member now, and instead his daughter Janine is now running it, and oh god, I'm so sorry. We swept through her entire team with Psychic. Probably not too encouraging for a brand new gym leader, but don't feel bad. Your dad was easy too. We reach Pewter City and challenge Brock, whose physically defensive Pokemon are no match for Psychic. It's really cool to see him with some other Pokemon though, including some fossil Pokemon. On our way to Pallet Town, we reach level 90. Reaching level 90 on Route 1 just seems wrong. Red's mom tells us that Red has been missing for quite some time. We make it to Cinnabar Island, which has been destroyed due to its volcano. Now homeless, Blaine lives in the Seafoam Islands where he's set up a cave as his gym. His first 2 Pokemon go down to 1 Psychic, however his level 50 Rapidash survives and hits us hard with a stab super effective Fire Blast, which also burns us. We're able to take it out though with a little over half health remaining. Before our final challenge, it's time for the toughest gym leader of all. We make it to the Viridian City Gym, which used to be run by Giovanni, but of course he escaped and disbanded Team Rocket, so Blue, the former champion, took his place after being defeated by Red. Now Blue, I figure, will be the only somewhat challenging Kanto gym leader. Oh hey look, there's a Blue man. Blue's gym is apparently made of Lego, so I'm hoping we can get out of here as soon as possible. He stops me though. He says, Sylph, take off your shoes. No, Blue, I don't want... Take off your shoes. I cry as the Legos dig into my feet. It's time to battle, he exclaims. Distracted by the pain, I'm afraid I won't perform well, but I have no choice. He sends out a level 56 Pidgeot, which is already by far the highest level Pokemon we've seen in our Kanto Gym Challenge. I hit it with a solid Psychic attack, and then he uses Mirror Move to reflect a super effective Psychic right back at us. We take it out in one more hit, and he sends out a Rhydon, which starts a Sandstorm, but we take it out in 2 hits. Next up is his Arcanine, and after the Sandstorm damage, I was hoping we could take it out, but nope, not a chance. It destroys us with a Flamethrower to end the battle. Holy, now this is a challenge. I try again expecting, I don't know, something to go differently, but I fail miserably. On the next attempt, I play it a bit smarter. I go for Fury Swipes on the Pidgeot instead so that its Mirror Move won't do as much. His Rhydon also doesn't set up the Sandstorm and only uses Fury Attack, which doesn't do much damage. We then survive the Arcanine's Flamethrower and take it out, but then he sends out Alakazam. Now I'm certain we could take this thing out with 1 Leech Life, but it outspeeds us and takes us out with a Psychic. We need to outspeed that thing. I go south of Pallet Town to grind until level 93 using Tentacles in the water since Pokemon in the grass are all like level 3 still. Upon returning to the gym, I decide it's time to use our 3 rare candies to get us to level 96. I also decide to get rid of Fury Swipes for Giga Drain since we need to take out that Rhydon in 1 hit to avoid Sandstorm because it is absolutely killing us. Giga Drain as a Mirror Move evasion strategy would have been good, but for some reason Pidgeot starts using Stab super effective Wing Attack on us instead. We manage it okay with the recovery though and make it through the Rhydon in 1 hit, although it was a crit. We make it past the Arcanine, taking 1 Flamethrower, and in comes the Alakazam. He still goes first, but this time he doesn't go for Psychic right away. He instead goes for Reflect, which weakens the damage of our Leech Life, but we still do good damage. He then spams Recover instead of using Psychic on us for some reason, and eventually we break through with a crit. His Gyarados is pretty easy to take down, and his last Pokemon, an Exeggutor, goes down from 1 Leech Life. We did it. We collected all 16 badges across the 2 regions. But the biggest challenge is yet to come. Back in Pallet Town, Oak finally gives us permission to access Mount Silver, where only the strongest of trainers can go. After a perilous journey, we reach the peak. A singular figure stands at the top. There's something familiar about him. Without words, we're thrust into battle against none other than the missing former champion, Red. He starts with a level 81 Pikachu. Uh-oh. Although Psychic does some good damage, Red full restores the absolute heck out of this thing, and not only does it hit a Thunder, but it also crits us. This makes us entirely unable to take out the Snorlax, which body slams us to death. The fact that it also knows Amnesia to raise its special defense is big trouble. I decide I have to commit to the final grind to level 100, heal up, and I have Jeff hold the Miracle Seed to raise the power of its Giga Drain move. This is now the best that we can do. We're now able to take out the Pikachu with 1 Psychic after it lowers our attack, but we are repeatedly losing to the Snorlax, and I decide to get rid of Nightshade and replace it with Toxic since it's the only way that I can see us beating that thing. Toxic still triggers it using Rest though, and it has Snore. Usually what will happen is the Body Slam paralyzes us, it uses Rest to heal the Toxic Poison, and then it goes for Snore for the Paraflinch. Holy, this thing is difficult. After numerous attempts, I have a run that starts looking promising. I have a lucky start when Pikachu fails to use Charm and we take it out. The Snorlax comes out and I immediately Toxic it, then when it starts doing damage on me, I begin to use Leech Life now that my attack hasn't been lowered. We get extremely lucky by not getting paralyzed by his Body Slams, and I've gotten him to low health. Now from experience, I don't want to use a recovery move like Giga Drain or Leech Life because although we'll get recovery, it will weaken him just the right amount that he'll use Rest. So I decide to go for Psychic, our strongest move, hoping it would take him out, and oh my god, critical hit. I don't know if it was necessary, but damn will I ever take that. He next sends out his Venusaur, which doesn't really have a way to hurt us, so I decide to go for Leech Life repeatedly to get health back. He just uses Solar Beam again and again, and because of the recharge, we're basically gaining back HP as he loses it. We take out the Venusaur, and he sends out his Charizard. Now this was the most HP I could reach the Charizard with amazing luck after so many attempts. Even still, it outspeeds us and takes us out with Flamethrower. If Red had instead sent out his Blastoise, we could have Giga Drained it and gained back full HP. Or even his Espeon, we could have done the same with Leech Life. But nope, he just has to send out the Charizard when the most we can have is a little bit over half health. After all of these attempts, I could not beat this thing. It simply came down to the order in which Red sends out his Pokemon. Without using items and with random IVs, this battle is unfortunately impossible for Spinarak solely because of Charizard. But we did beat the Elite Four and got all 16 badges. It's just this bonus battle that we can't beat, so I'm honestly very happy with what we were able to accomplish. Jeff is an absolute beast and proved just what a Spinarak can do. Oh, by the way, I hate spiders. Just had to get that out. Well, there you have it, folks. We beat Pokemon Crystal with just a Spinarak. I hope you guys enjoyed this journey as much as I did, and if you did, please be sure to let me know by leaving a like and commenting a favorite moment of yours down below, or any other challenges you'd like to see me do. Both likes and comments help a ton with the YouTube algorithm, so I'd be super appreciative if you guys could do this for me if you enjoyed this challenge. Let's strive for 3,000 likes again to unlock another challenge video. Don't forget to subscribe and click that bell to turn notifications on so you're ready for the next one. If you guys enjoy my content, please be sure to check out my other videos and consider supporting on Patreon to get some cool perks. The link will be in the description below. Thank you all for watching. This has been Spectre, and I'll see you guys next time for another Pokemon Challenge.